Hello guys, welcome to a class of data Python for data analysis. So as discussed in this video, we are starting our journey into one of the most fundamental concepts in Pandas, which is called Boolean indexing. So you have to think of data analysis like asking questions of your data. Before we talk about that, let's load the data frame we wish to use. Of course, this is what we are going to discuss. What is Boolean indexing, basic comparison operators, single condition filtering, multiple conditions using SN and the likes. I'll share this notebook with you guys. But let's take a look at our data frame to make sense of what we are trying to talk about right now. So assuming we have this data frame, ignore this particular column. You have the ID, a data frame of, as you know, Olympics data set, those that participated in the 2016 Olympics. You have their ID, name, sex, age, height, weight, team, NOC, the nation, right? The games, year, season, city, sports, event, and medal, right? So you need to, as you know, as we've discussed several times, you need to understand your data. So, but for the sake of this particular class, this Boolean indexing is going to take us like 2 or 3 videos, short videos to explain. So I'll just assume that most of you have already seen, we've already dealt with how to explore your data. But I just want you to know that we have some of these columns. Medal, which talks about what medal the athletes got. Was it bronze, silver, or gold? What sport he participated in? Was it rowing, taekwondo, and the rest? So if you're looking at this on your own, when you get the data frame, you can go through, explore the data frame yourself, right? So you think of data analysis like asking questions of your data. You might ask, show me all athletes, right? This is their age, whose age, who athletes who are over 30 years old, right? Or who won gold medals, those that won gold medals at the Olympics, right? So Boolean indexing is how you ask these questions in Pandas. So by the end of this video, we want you to be able to filter a data set with confidence. So let's get started, right? So what is a Boolean index? Boolean indexing, right? It's just a fancy term for a simple concept. Imagine you have a list of numbers and you want to find all the numbers greater than 5. You check this number. Is this number greater than 5? For instance, let's take a look at an example as we talk about, like as has been written here. Boolean indexing is filtering data using true or false conditions. How it works, you create a series of true or false values. You now use this series to select rows where that condition is true, right? What is true or false questions is, these are answers to your question. For instance, when I ask, is 2 greater than 5, and I execute this, the response I should get is false because 2 is not greater than 5. But when I ask if 2 is less than 5, I should get a true expression. So Boolean indexing is filtering data using this true or false condition. How the way it works is that you create a series of true or false values, then you use this series to select rows where it's true, right? So now let's take a look at this example. Let's remove this, right? So you created a condition where you say you are filtering, you are looking at age column, the age column we have here, for where age is greater than 30, and you save that filtering to this particular variable. So when you execute this, you are going to get a series of values where every row entry of this age will be checked. Anyone that is greater than 30 will be represented as true. If it is not greater than 30, it will be false. Now index 0, as you can see, returned false because the age in index 0 is 21, so it's not greater than 30, so it came back as false, and the rest are true. Now, how do you now use this? You've met the first condition. You create a series of true or false values. This is what we've just done. This first condition is a series of true or false values. Now you will now use this series to select rows where true. The way you use it is you use that particular condition, right, to filter your data frame. How do you filter a data frame? Assuming we want to see athletes, older athletes, let's call them older athletes, which are athletes whose age is greater than 30. We just pass the condition as our filtering condition. We pass this condition at the top here because we saved it as a variable. We pass it here, and then it automatically, it means we now have a data frame of athletes who are older than 30, right? So this is what just happened. As you can see, you have a data frame of athletes. When you check the age column, you would only find age that are greater than 30, and for that reason you find, yeah. So this is the magic of Boolean index. The true rows are selected and the false rows are dropped, right? So let's understand this. The condition creates what we call a Boolean mask, right? That first condition that checks age greater than 30 will create what we call a Boolean mask. You just have to, it lets through only the rows that match the criteria. So where it's false will be skipped, and where it's true will be recorded. Now that we understand the concept, let's look at the tools we use to create these conditions. These are called comparison operators, right? Here are the operators we'll use: greater than, greater or equals to, less than, less or equals to. If you've gone through the notes, you should have come across this, right? So we can as well go through the right way to do that particular, the first one we did. Instead of passing the creating a variable, you just need to pass the condition itself into the brackets. You find that the filtering will be done, and when you execute that particular first one, you would get the athletes. Now, if you're talking about athletes, if you this is for athletes over 30 years old. Now we can ask a question. Athletes, tall athletes, right? Let's talk about athletes who are tall, meaning those athletes who are greater than 200 centimeter, right? This is how you do it. You just filter the data frame by a condition of height greater than 200, and this will be saved. That particular data frame will be saved in tall, and when you execute it, you can see that you have athletes. You have 65 entries, but we can even go ahead and take a look at some of the records in this particular data frame, so that you can see that what is being recorded are athletes whose height is greater than 200, right? So the third question is lightweight athletes, whose weight is less than 550 kg. Those that are lightweight are not that have overweight or something. So you have athletes. The way to do that is you filter for athletes. You filter for the data frame for where weight is less than 50, and then you take a look at some, and you find that it's very easy to do that. All you need is to understand the condition, put the condition, and use the right operator, and then you'll be able to do that. For athletes age 25 or older, you use the greater than or equals to and call on the age column, right? And then you find that you have athletes who are older than 25 or older, right? So apart from using the operators and numerical values for the filtering, you should also know that comparison operators aren't just for numbers. Actually, we can also use them for text. For instance, you are asked that you want to see athletes that got gold medals. We have the medal column where the medal is silver, gold, and bronze. So you would like to see athletes that got the gold medal. How do you go about this? It's very simple. Let's call it gold, and then it's going to be DF, right? We are filtering the data frame, and this is the condition. Give me the medal column, right, for where the entry is actually gold. So for all the gold entries, right? So you find that you have a new data frame called gold that contains all the columns, but for where the athletes got gold, right? So silver and bronze will be excluded in this data frame because they will return as false in the Boolean mask. So you have only the gold medalist here, right? So that's how it's done. So if you say you would like to see all athletes not from USA, recall we have the equal to operator and we have the not equal to operator right here. Keep going back, but I would just like you guys to understand it properly. We have the not equal to operator. So if you are asked for athletes that are not from USA, so you are looking at the team column because the team column is where we talk about the countries of the athletes, and you would like to answer the question for athletes. Sorry, where am I? All right, so athletes not from USA. So you call this, you can call these non-USA athletes, non-USA, sorry, non-USA, and then we filter DF by the condition where team, which is the country, right, is not equals to United States. I do believe that's how it's written. I'm not sure, but let's go ahead and take a look at this. We can even take a look at some columns and some name, and let's say team. Let's look at some of the columns, some of the entries, some of the columns. Yeah, as you can see that you'll be return other athletes, other teams, and not the team, not the USA team, right? The third thing you can answer is that you would like to take a look at female athletes only. You know, you have the sex column, right, where you look at the gender of the athletes. Either they are male, which was represented with M in the entries, or female, which was represented with F in the entries. So how do you go about this? It's quite simple actually, right? Only female athletes, females will be used. You call on the F and then you call on the sex column for where sex is it can also be not equal to F, right? So you can have the sex not equals to F to give you all the rest, which of course is just the M, right? So you find that your record is just for those whose sex is equal to M because you said not equals to F. So I believe I'm going to stop the video here, and in our next video we can talk about multiple conditions with AND, right, using AND. So meet you in the next video.